Anthony, we'll start with you this time. I think you put it on you. I think it was you that posted this. The Giants have like $50 million cap space. This is after they allocate the money to the draft class. They have $50 million. Was that you that posted that, or was that?
I think it was Alex.
Yeah, it was Alex.
Oh, just Fireside Giants.
Yeah,
okay.
Yep.
It was your channel. Okay.
Article breakdown, and I think it's 60 million is what they're projecting.
No, I didn't read deep into that, Anthony. Was that including the projected 19 million we're going to save from cutting Jones, or no?
Yeah, that was including Daniel Jones.
So this is my question, Anthony, and then we'll just go around. Anthony, what position are you going at first with that money?
You know, it's funny because Alex and I were actually discussing this on Fireside Giants yesterday, and he was like, I'm immediately going after a cornerback. And I said, he was like, cornerback and tackle. Like, those are my top two priorities. And I was like, nope, quarterback. I am getting the best bridge quarterback available. The free agent quarterback that hits the market, number one, I'm getting him, and I'm drafting a quarterback.
You're
going to
be surprised with my answer
quarterbacks
on
this roster. Yeah, I don't care if it's Justin Fields hits the market, if it's Russell Wilson, I am signing the quarterback, and I'm making sure that we at least, maybe Darnold, I'm making sure that we at least have the floor of this team elevate and get to a level of competency where we can feel confident that we can win. In a 10-game sample size, can this quarterback win more than 5 of those games? That's what I want to know. That's the player that I need to get in here. Give me a quarterback who wins me at least 6 out of 10 games. I don't need 8 out of 10. I don't need an elite quarterback, but you got to actually invest money into that position. I know it's tough to do because they're moving on from Daniel Jones, and they're already allocating money to the position because Daniel Jones' contract is still here, even though they saved a bunch of money.
So we definitely need a quarterback.
Yeah, you have to take a quarterback because all you have right now is 2 free agents in DeVito and Locke. So, I mean, I don't know what my budget would look like for the quarterback position, but I'm definitely spending there first and foremost because that is the most important position in all of sports. And like Adriana was saying, I don't want to just throw the quarterback into the fire. I want a bridge. I want somebody who can at least play those first 10 games of the season and win you a good amount of them. And then if you need to, you can go in with the rookie or wait an extra year for the rookie.
Warner did for us in 04, right?
Exactly. And Kurt Warner was a great player. So sign a good quarterback, not a Drew Lock. Sign someone legitimate who could start a full season if you need him to.
Makes sense. Chris, where are you going with that money first?
I agree with everything you said about the quarterback, Anthony. I do think that they need to sign a legitimate veteran. Now, there's not many guys that you view as like top 10 or 15 starters that are going to be available in free. There's just not. I think Jameis Winston's a perfect guy. I think he's a guy that you feel comfortable could start for 6 to 8 games, maybe with a good offensive coordinator, could look decent, could look pretty good. Maybe he gets a chance to have a little bit of a resurgence, even though he never really hit his peak while he was with the Tampa Bay Bucks. Maybe it's an opportunity like Kurt Warner had with the Giants. When you drafted the early quarterback, he looked relatively good. Then he got another chance with Arizona. That's a name I've said consistently, but I don't think he would cost you a ton. All the positions you brought up are clear needs. I think you brought up interior defensive line, cornerback. But I'm going to tell you what, in free agency, if I'm spending big on a player, and this is actually what I expect the Giants to do in the offseason, I think their highest ticket free agent is going to be a wide receiver. I think they're going to go out and get a guy like a T. Higgins, someone like that to pair opposite Malik Neighbors to really set this quarterback up as best as they possibly can that they project to take early on in this year's draft. That's my prediction going into the offseason. Last offseason, I thought that they would spend their big money on the edge. They not in free agency, but they traded for Burns. The year before, I thought it would be a linebacker. I think they're going to spend big on the wide receiver this year in free agency.
Adriana, where would you go with the money?
I would go corner. Our cornerback room is really young, and we desperately need a good veteran who is not Adoree Jackson, who knows how to intercept the ball and who is actually going to mentor these young guys, because I have faith in some of the young ones. I think Tay Banks is going to turn it around. I think he's having an attitude adjustment, which I have heard is because of Adoree Jackson getting in his ear, which I really don't like. So I think a veteran corner is really going to make a big difference. Someone who could step in day one, cornerback one, cover the outside, cover a guy like Justin Jefferson. That is what I want so desperately.
It's interesting because all these, I mean, $50 million sounds like a lot, but it can go really fast. And obviously the GM's job is to allocate the money in certain ways that you can be flexible with these contracts. But man, I would love to get one of each. I don't know what Jameis Winston will cost. Mm-hmm. Sam Darnold, I mean, I like Sam Darnold stunk for many years. Sam Darnold's a big reason why I'm in the playoffs in my fantasy league. I thought Sam Darnold would have a very good year this year. I was saying before the year, that's his fantasy sleeper pick. He could have a really good year because he's in a good spot. But Sam Darnold, he's not going to be a bridge. Sam Darnold's going to be a quarterback for somebody for years. I don't think you bring him in. Like, that's why what Atlanta did was weird, giving Cousins 4 years and then drafting Michael Penix. That was very strange because, if you gave Cousins 2 years, I get it. I think Darnold will get more in 2 years. Winston, I don't think Winston will cost a lot. I don't know if Justin Fields will cost a lot. It might not be.
Yeah, I kind of view Winston in the same light as I view Darnold going into this offseason.
How much do you think Winston will cost?
10 million.
Yeah, 8 to 10 million.
8 to 10 million. So how much do you think T. Higgins costs?
25.
25. So at that point, you're at 35 million. How much?
Like you said, you can structure it.
How much do you think a top corner costs?
18.
20.
Is there a way you can swing all three of them?
Yes, 100%.
So if Joe Shane was,
it
might not be Joe Shane doing that.
Yeah, you could. Absolutely could.
But
you could structure it in a way that this year, if it's 25 per year on average for the receiver, 8 goes against the cap. Knowing that you're going to have a quarterback on a rookie salary for the next 4 years, you're going to be able to, be creative with the way that you structure these contracts.
I mean, there's obviously other positions we need to fill. I mean, but I'm just saying that would be, if there was any way they could swing those three positions, because they'd be huge. It would be, Chris. I'm with you. I'm never usually a wide receiver guy, but I'm thinking to myself, if we do have a rookie quarterback, it would be great. You see all the targets Malik Neighbors has, and his number 2 is Darius Slayton or Wan'Dale Robinson. Can you imagine if it was a guy like T. Higgins on the
I don't even know if he's the guy I prefer. I just know he's a free agent.
I know what you're saying. I think he's the best free agent wide receiver. I mean,
is Ayuk a free agent? I think he is too.
He signed an extension.
Oh, he signed an extension?
But
Okay.
if you actually had a guy that, the other side has to worry about, Malik Neighbors can get one-on-ones and they're not going to double team him because they're worried about the opposite. He could go off. He could have a huge year, especially you got a guy like Cameron Ward who throws the ball down the field.
Yeah.
I mean, it could be really exciting.